I lost a wholesale deal that could have made me $200,000. Here's exactly what happened, what I learned, and why I would make that decision again today. So let me tell you a story. Back in June of 2025, a woman called me and said that she wanted to sell her house and 2 fourplexes that she owned. I found this house by using the marketing methods that I explained in my course. The link is in the description, and I've also pinned it in the comments. She wanted $500,000 for everything. She owned the house since the 1960s, and over time, the area changed. She told me that people were breaking into her home and she wanted to move to a safer location. So I did my research on the home and the 2 fourplexes. Based on recent sales, the 2 fourplexes that she owned were worth about $250,000 each, and her house was worth about $80,000. So I valued her house and 2 fourplexes at $580,000 in as-is condition. Because of the area and the amount of work that was needed, I could only offer her $400,000 max. That number gave me room for risk, and it made sense for that market. So when I told her my price, she said, "That's not even enough for me to buy a house." I told her I understood, but that was the best I could do. She told me that she would never call me back, and we hung up. About 2 weeks later, she called me back and she said that 2 new investors were in on the deal now. One of the investors offered her $600,000 for everything that she had. The $600,000 offer was $100,000 over her asking price. So I asked her, "Why are you calling me?" She told me that she didn't want to sell to the guy. The guy owned multiple properties on her street, and she said that she liked the way I presented myself. So she asked me if I would come up on my price, and I told her no, I'm sticking to $400,000. She told me that the 2 fourplexes were bringing in about $70,000 together, but that was gross, not net. When I asked her about her actual expenses, she didn't give them to me. She'd been holding back information about her expenses until she received a realistic offer in her eyes. Even after multiple conversations with her, I still didn't know what her true expenses were. The properties clearly needed work, so I stayed firm on my number. So we got off the phone, and then a week later, she called me back again. This time she called with her agent on the phone. The agent told me that my $400,000 offer was a fair price for the area, which I already knew. But she told me that the investor who offered the $600,000 was still in play. So it was just me and him. They didn't want to sell to this other guy, but they did not want to come down to my number. They didn't even want to come close to it. And I wasn't going up at all. So after we got off the phone this time, I never heard back from that seller again. But I did hear back from her agent. Her agent wanted to work with me on other properties, but that's a story for another day. During this deal, I found out who the other investor was that offered the $600,000. My plan was to wholesale this deal to him if I got this property under contract for $400,000. That would have made me about a $200,000 assignment profit, but it never came together. So I walked away from this deal in a sense. I listened to my intuition, and even though I could have made $200,000 on this deal, I probably saved myself from a deal that could have went bad. The lesson I learned here is stick to your numbers, trust your analysis, trust your gut. You know when it doesn't feel right. You can just tell when a deal doesn't feel right. You do not want to get yourself in a situation where you have regrets, and you do not want to get into something that's over your head. You want to make sure that you have enough education to handle the risks that come up. In real estate, protecting yourself is more important than chasing what looks like a big win or an easy win. Assuming my numbers were right in this deal, drop a comment. I want to know whether or not you would have taken this deal, came up on your price from $400,000, or what you would have walked away like I did. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.